An astounding story about a poor boy from Portland who goes to the United States on a scholarship, then ends up at the Harvard Medical School where he graduates with honors. He picks up math and electrical engineering degrees from Columbia University and becomes a major investor. The story of Dr. Kingsley Chin on Profile. Welcome, I'm Ian Boyne. Kingsley, great to have you. What a story it is from Buff Bay, really dirt poverty. 6 of you in one little room. Tell us about those days. What was life like early days in Buff Bay, Portland?
By the way, Ian, I've been a big fan.
Is that so? You've been,
so I'm
you know my work.
Yes, I've been a big fan. I really enjoyed recently this 3-part you did with Usain Bolt.
Thank
I
you
watched
very
all
much.
that.
Yes.
So when I heard that you had an interest in talking with me, so I'm here.
Yes.
And so thank you for that.
Good.
And I think, first of all, Buff Bay, I want to big up Buff Bay because a lot of people don't really know about Buff Bay when I talk about it. So for anyone who doesn't, it's on your way to Port Antonio.
Yeah, man.
It's a small seaside town.
Yes.
And so, as much as we're saying dirt poor, actually growing up, I felt like I was fine, you know, in the sense that I had my family and we're just getting by, but I didn't feel like we're...
But your father was there. You didn't meet your father until you were in your 20s.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I didn't meet my father until I actually went to the United States, bought my own ticket to go see him. But I definitely had a lot of incentive to be motivated because we didn't have any... I never had TV. I used to remember if I wanted to watch some cartoons, I would go to walk around the neighborhood, and anyone who had their front door open and the TV was running, I swear to you, I'd be watching it, you know, from there.
Yes.
And people were kind enough to just leave the door open. Sometimes they invite me in, and I never had a refrigerator, which you have to go and buy ice on a Sunday, only on the Sunday.
Yes.
But we had a lot of love.
What was your staple food?
Yeah, I mean, I never, every day we had dinner, and every morning my mom would make breakfast, and she had a steady
chicken
job.
back?
Well, chicken back was a staple.
Chicken back was a staple?
That, for everyone. You know, I used to go fishing as I got older, and we'd catch some fish. Or you go down to the seaside and help the fisherman push the boat in, you get the little small fish, and you come home and you kind of do your thing. But majority of my time was spent either going to school or on the football field. So I, you know, as a young boy, I had plenty of time, plenty of focus on other things other than poverty. You know, so I didn't really think about it. No,
you weren't involved in self-pity, not at all.
Not even the least.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, I felt like I had this incredibly adventurous life because I was growing up in a small town. I didn't worry about crime. We had the sea, we had rivers, we had the mountains. I would go shooting birds with my brothers. We'd go by the river and swim all day, as long as your mom doesn't find out. So I felt like I had this incredible life. By the way, let's just be clear here. I would not change anything about my childhood.
You wouldn't?
Not one single thing.
With all the poverty?
Not one single thing.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And in fact, you would say that the poverty, the difficulties of early life gave you the fuel for your motivation.
You need that. You need fuel. And for me, looking back, like we all do, is when you kind of understand your life, right? So at the time, you're living day by day. And so I did feel this sense that I wanted to prove myself early on. And my best friend was, family was Chinese and lived in a different part of town, but I used to go to their house. So I got to see the difference between my situation and what it could be.
Yes.
Right? So, and they own the wholesale in town.
So, you saw a different
that's my
life.
first outlook on business. I realized, wait a minute, business is how you affect your life. So you climb up. And their mom was the matron at the hospital, and she was all about education. My mom was big on education. So I felt like educate yourself and find a way to get into business is the way you get to where you want to get to.
You went to Titchfield and did well in football. Let's talk about your exploits in football.
Yes. So so because I don't have a big house and no TV, I'm out on the park sometimes by myself dribbling around.
Yes.
Sometimes I would have these kids and my brothers try to chase me down and get the ball. So actually it's a great drill. Just trying to get kids come from all angles, and I'm dribbling this ball around, so just trying to avoid them, and then every day we'd be playing pickup football after that. So when I went to Titchfield from first form, I was way ahead of the game. Literally, I would get the ball when we play house matches. Once I got it, I would just dribble past everyone and kick it in the back of the net. So football became a big thing for me at Titchfield. And we went to the Costa Cup final in '83. We lost 1-0 to Cornwall. And from there, I went to play for the Jamaica juvenile junior national team. Bradley Stewart was the coach. I'll tell you an interesting story, because what I believe is when you're ready, your angel will appear.
Yes.
So for anyone out there right now who's struggling, who's trying to figure it out, get yourself ready in whatever you want to do, and eventually someone's going to come along in some way without you realizing it and help you. So we were playing against Calabar, Titchfield, in a preseason game, and the goalkeeper kicked the ball out. I trapped it on my chest, kept hitting the ball over someone's head. We call that a pie.
Yeah.
But the ball didn't touch the ground until it hit the back of the net.
Yes.
And I remember everyone was clapping, and that's where Bradley Stewart was clapping. I still remember that.
Yes.
So when I got the call later on, you never know if you're pursuing excellence every day, if you're just working hard.
Absolutely.
You never know who's watching, you know, and that
you
was
eventually would get a football scholarship.
Yes.
Leaving Jamaica with US $47 to go to the prestigious Columbia University.
Yeah, what's interesting about that is Columbia University is an Ivy League school in New York City, in Manhattan. They were ranked #1 in the country. So I was one of the #1 recruit in the United States that year, coming from Jamaica. And because of my academic background at Titchfield, because I have A-levels.
You did well.
I did very well in A-levels.
A-level.
And especially in math. I had distinction in math. So because I had all the A-levels, when they looked at my academic profile, as well as the football side, I was a good match. And so my very good friend Solomon Gale, who was a star here, he went to Campion, was there before me. And so they got introduced to a Jamaican. So they were looking for another Jamaican who could come in and fit in with the team. So I went there. My first 2 years we won the Ivy League championship, and my senior year I was player of the year.
Your player of the year?
I was player of the year my senior year. Thought a little bit about going to professional in Europe, but then decided I didn't want to continue.
So you could have gone on a football career if you wanted.
Yes.
You were already on track for that.
But I remembered from my childhood that business was the way to go. Athletic stuff is great. It's exciting. It can take you in a professional arena, but it's only for so much. Business, you want to get into business.
And you have done well in business. I'm reading here that over the past 10 years, your company, KICVentures, has deployed $190 million to build a portfolio estimated at $1 billion US.
That's correct, yeah.
You see a poor boy coming out from Buff Bay, Portland, leaving Jamaica with 47 US dollars. And the funds that you have deployed have created a portfolio of US $1 billion now. And you have not only done well in business, you have gone on to do very well as a spinal surgeon.
Yeah.
And you have a number of patents here. I see 40 patents issued, and you have authored a number of publications. A remarkable story. There's so many Jamaicans who are doing well. Our job on Profile is to gather these Jamaicans and to tell these great stories. We take our first break on Profile. You talk about a Renaissance man. You're talking about Kingsley Chin, author of 5 books, Prove Yourself, Notes, Face Failure, Your Path Up, 104 Quotes to Keep You Driven, motivational books, graduated from Harvard Medical School with honors, board certified, double fellowship trained orthopedic spine surgeon. I think you did a surgery on Chris Gale.
Yes, I did.
You teach, spent 4 years teaching at the University of Pennsylvania as chief of spine surgery before committing yourself to being managing partner and CEO of KICVentures, electrical engineer. when you were in Buffalo, did you dream, amidst all of this poverty, that one day you would make it, Kingsley? That one day you would stamp your presence on the world? Did you see it? Did you dream big, think big?
Yeah, I didn't see where I was going to be. What I saw was the desire to prove myself.
Prove yourself. You had that.
And that...
Because your father had abandoned you.
My father had left and went to England back then.
Never sent any money back.
Never sent any money back. But listen, it's not what I expect from people. So my father and I are square. He did his job already, right? I'm here.
All right.
So
that's a good attitude.
But I think as a father of 3 kids right now, I think there's a tremendous value to have your father involved. But if you don't have a father, if you don't have any resources, don't dwell on that.
Don't dwell on that.
It's not, that's not what you expect. It's what you need to set as your goals, right? So for me, I wanted to prove myself that I could rise to the highest level of success. What I needed to do was to understand how to get there. So because of that drive, I started to look at successful people from I was younger. What I would do, I look at an Ian Boyne right now, and I'm a fan of yours. I would re-engineer you. I would say, okay, what do I like about you? And I would take that, and I would put that together and say, okay, I keep building myself into something better. And I used to remember sitting at the top of this hill above the football field.
Yes.
And I'd watch these ships, right? And they would be going over the horizon. I'm watching. I'm saying, I wonder what's over there. And I'm like, I made a decision. I wanted to get off the island.
Yes.
And I said to my mom, you know, the next time I go to the airport, I'm flying out. She's like, how are you going to do that? You have no one. How are you going to get off the island? I said, I'm going to do it. So I set that goal, and I used to train in football twice a day. Because I felt like that was a legitimate opportunity for me.
Yes.
If I excelled at football, I could get a scholarship. Now, I had no idea how that was going to happen. But when you're prepared,
that's true.
Your angel will appear, right? Every single one of us is born unique and has a special role in this world. So I felt that I was special. I felt like I was the best football player from when I was young. I felt like I was going to be better than Pele. I believed that.
You had that
right?
confidence.
I did. I felt like I was really smart. And so I would study until 5 a.m. at night to a kerosene lamp. And
you studied kerosene? Through the night?
Yes. And then so I remember when I did A-level maths, I was done with over an hour to spare. And the pastor who was running said, Kingsley, you sure you're finished? Because I'd done so many questions before I did A-level math. I felt like every single question I'd seen it already. That's preparation, right?
Yes.
And so I had this incredible drive, Ian, to just the power. I still have that. Now I'm sitting here relaxing with you, but my radio show, Prove Yourself Radio.
Yes, you have a radio show.
When I do my motivational speaking, these books that I'm writing, my time right now, I say to anyone out there, as long as you can wake up and you're still alive, you're not dead. You need to account for that second. You need to account for that minute. So I am accounting for that, right? So today I'm here in Jamaica, by the way, because I'm supporting a foundation for children's care, right? And it's an educational foundation for children's care sponsored by the Adventist Church. I'm on staff at Andrews Hospital.
Yes. Are you Adventist?
No, but I used to be when I was younger. My uncle, and if he's watching, I credit him for that. So last night I was at Mr. Ty's house and his wife, and we talked. I learned a lot about him, and he had the Thai wing there. and they have a new CEO. So I'm going to be doing some surgeries at Andrews Hospital.
You'll be doing surgeries at Andrews?
I've been doing surgeries for the last 9 years at Tony Twaits at university.
Oh, you do surgeries in Tony Twaits?
Yes. I was there about 3 months ago. I did surgery on two children.
So you have made your name in the area of spinal surgery?
Yes. Everything I do it to become as good as I possibly can.
Very.
And so I've invested a lot into orthopedic spine surgery. That's why I have so many patents. I have over 40 and many. I'm the only spine surgeon to own a company. I have a spine company called Spine Frontier.
You have a spine?
That makes all the products that the top surgeons in the country, United States, are using.
Is that so?
And I acquired, in 2014, did a major acquisition of Axiomed. That's a disc replacement technology for spine surgery. That was a leveraged buyout I did. That company had about $85 million invested by 12 venture capital company. Oh. They went out and they borrowed some money from a bank. The bank is sitting in first position, and they couldn't make the loan. So I put up some of my money, got some other investors, and got some debt, and did a leveraged buyout of the company.
How did you learn business? Because you didn't study finance at school. You studied engineering and so on. Where does business acumen has come from?
My mom used to make $50 a week and balance that.
Your mother used to make working at a
supermarket. She would balance that. All week she'd balance it out.
$50?
Yes. And then like I said, I think business is basic, right? So you can learn it over time. But I did spend some time in Manhattan. I spent some time in financial consulting at Accenture.
And you've worked at Accenture.
I did.
Good. Goldman Sachs. So you worked at some pretty high-flying companies in the field. And then you started KICVentures. And that has been very successful.
Started KICVentures in 2005. Then I developed our first technology and sold it in 6 months to Stryker. We made 100 times return on that investment.
100 times?
100 times. Millions on that deal. That then capitalized my fund. Then I went out and had 6 surgeons invested about $7 million. Based on that $7 million, I then started a company called Spine Frontier in 2007.
Yeah.
So Spine Frontier has been profitable for the last 5 years. Now we're going to start packaging the company to take it public. And we went on and acquired Axiomed. So we did a bunch of acquisitions in 2014. But you have to put your dues in, right? True. So for business, I put my time into business. And the longer you're doing business and the more deals you're doing, you just get better at it.
Absolutely.
And you need to fail sometimes as well.
Yes. The keys to excellence we need to learn from this man, because he has built everything from the ground up. Kingsley R. On Profile. We take our final break. Kingsley R. was a member of the Electrical Engineering Honors Society. So honors in medicine, honor society, in electrical engineering, tremendous success in business, over 300 authored scientific publications, lectures and presentations, 40 patents. How do you manage your time?
That's the key. Right? Your time is the most, your time and your health are the two most valuable things you have, right? You have no choice over who you're born to, what situation you're born into. So my situation I'm born into, or who I'm born to, I have no control over that. True. It's what you do after that. And what you do after that has to do with how you look at your time. And so my time has to be accounted for at every single second. So, and the more you push yourself, the more you get better at managing your time. So if you work and you're getting paid per hour, or if you work and you're getting paid for your talents, you have to actually trade time to get paid, right? So I look at that and I realize that I need to manage my time. So, and I also need to manage my health. So I'm in the gym at 6 a.m. Oh, yeah. Right? I'm trying to work out because I need to stay healthy.
You're in the gym at 6.
Because doing business and doing surgery and all these other things require to be like an athlete. So I have to make sure I'm taking care of me. So I got to be in the gym. Then I have my family. I have to also be a family guy.
You spend time with family too?
I have to. So my kids, every morning, I'm with them at breakfast, send them off to school. I make sure that happens, right? So they're learning from daddy, and then on the weekend, I'm spending time with them.
You spend time with anyone?
And I also have a wife, so I have to make time for my wife. So my wife and I travel together. I try to get her into the business. She helps me out in my business as well. So then the rest of the time is for my patients. And when I'm in the room with my patient, I'm 100%.
Full attention.
When I'm out of the room, it's all business. And I have over 100 employees. My management team is what I manage, and they help manage the companies. That's the other thing. You can be great. You can be a great athlete. You can be a great businessman. You can be a great person on your own. But power is different. Power is how you make things happen. Power you come from when you're part of a group. So anyone's out there on their own. Yeah, you can. You run in a 100-meter dash. You can be great at that. But power is what you do when you start to put together a group of people, and you're going to go achieve something. So for me to get to billions of dollars in my portfolio, which I want to do.
You want to reach billions?
I want to be
You're a billion now.
The most successful businessman to ever come out of my home country of Jamaica. That's my personal
You want to be more
goal.
successful than Butch Stewart and Lee Chin?
Those are the guys I admire.
You admire them?
By far.
But you want to be ahead of them?
Well,
you don't see any reason why you cannot be?
No. Even if that's my goal, is to be as successful as possible. But you need to have people that you admire who you can look to see and learn from them. So when you take someone like Butch Stewart, who started Sandals from one hotel, there's a lot to be learned from that, right? When you look at Lee Chin, a civil engineer who goes to Canada and then starts a fund and did so well, and then comes back here and is involved, there's a ton you can learn from that. So you take people like that, you re-engineer them, and you think, okay, where do I want to be? You want to set your goals so high that you never want to reach them. Because if you reach your goal, Ian, then what are you going to do tomorrow? So my goals are so high. I'm telling you some of this, but that's not my goal is not to meet Butch Stewart. My goal was to learn from him. My goal was to learn from Lee Chin and some of the other successful businessmen in Jamaica. But I always recognize that I'm Jamaican. And so I keep myself grounded on that. I measure myself by that. But where I go from here is based on the fact that I started from nothing, and it's my responsibility to go as far as I can. I can't say, you know what, I'm going to stop here because my kid is going to go further than me. I have to take the position that I need to go as far as I possibly can because I have the opportunity to. Now, once you pass a certain level, anything become possible now, right? Remember, Steve Jobs was an orphan. Didn't have his parents. Bill Gates left Harvard in his third year to go. He never finished his degree. To get to that point. So I have to look at how much can I get done in my lifetime. The clock is running out. I don't have time to waste. Guess what happens? The more intense you are about your time, the more you enjoy life. Next time you sit around all day and tell me how you feel versus if you get up early, hit the gym, go swimming, spend some quality time with people around you, get work done, and you achieve something, you're much more energized to do it again. So what I'm doing is living success over and over and over. Now my next level of success is to compete at the highest level. So I have companies now that are in the mobile technology field, sense driver technologies. I go to Silicon Valley. In fact, I have a meeting out there in San Jose on October 13. We're about to launch our product, and I'm meeting with Jabal. So when you start going around people that are even more driven than you, guess what happens? So show me who you're hanging around with, and I can tell you where you're going to go.
The power of association.
You have to have that.
You've got to be back with us because we need more. So when you come back to Jamaica, which can be any time soon, we need to talk again. We can't have enough of Kingsley Chin. What a remarkable story this is. We keep finding the stories for you. What a treasure chest we have on Profile. 29 going into 30 years now of Profile. We thank you for your support. Until next week, Ian Boyne wishing you very productive and a very good week.